Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Mostly From Scratch. I am your host Mr. Munchies, and in this episode I'm going to show you how I make my Spanish rice to go with the Southwest pork enchiladas that are actually in the oven at the moment. Now I call this Spanish rice because a long time ago when I lived in Melbourne there was this little Spanish restaurant that served this rice this way, and that's how I know it. If I am making something that actually has another name, let me know in the comments below. So let's get into it. Our ingredients are going to be 1 cup of raw rice. You don't want to use instant rice for this. Some whipping cream, some ricotta cheese, and about a teaspoon and a half of very finely minced jalapeno pepper. Now we're going to cook our rice per the instructions on the package, but a little clue or a hint for you, or helping tip, rinse your rice first with cold water for about a minute. Stir it around with your fingers. That will take off a lot of the excess starch and will usually give you a better result in the end, so you don't wind up with just a big lump of starch in your pot. So we're going to turn this up to high, get it started. I'm going to add my jalapenos to the water now. Give that just a little stir. And we are going to add our rice. I did put a little pinch of salt in the water as well. Alright, and this should yield about 2.5 to 3 cups of cooked rice. So now we're going to just bring this to a boil and then reduce it and let it simmer for 20 minutes. That's the instructions on the package. So I'm going to cover this, bring it to a boil. When that's done, I'll come back and we'll assemble everything. Okay, we are back. It has been 20 minutes and our rice is done. Let's take a look at this. It's all nice and fluffy. See, rinsing it ahead of time really makes a big difference. You can smell the jalapenos in there. Now you can add more jalapenos if you want. This has got just a little bit of a bite to it. So now we're going to add 3/4 cup of ricotta cheese. Get that mixed in. And you got to do this while it's hot so your cheese melts in a little bit, because your cheese is cold. Get that stirred in there. Ah, Mr. Munchies is always making a mess. If anything, my videos are entertaining, right? Probably should have used maybe a bigger pot. Let me get this off the stove so it doesn't burn. There you go. Alright. Now we're going to add 3/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. Now you can add a little more cream if you want it a little wetter. If you don't have cream, you could use whole milk if you'd like. It's not going to be as creamy, of course. And now looking at it, I think I should have added some more jalapenos to give it a little more color, but I didn't want to make it too hot. Alright, now that all this is mixed in, take a look at this. See how nice and creamy that is? That is some good stuff right there. So now, we're going to serve this with our... I've got an annoying gnat buzzing my head right now. We're gonna serve this up with our Southwest pork enchiladas. So that'll do it for another episode of Mostly From Scratch. If you're watching this on Facebook, please share it with your friends. If you're watching this on YouTube, share it with your friends as well, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my recipes coming up. So this will do it for another episode of Mostly From Scratch. I am your host, Mr. Munchies. So everybody, plate up and chow down.